So welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is RIP, that is also called Routing Information Protocol. So in RIP we have two versions, RIP version 1 and RIP version 2, right? So I have already uploaded one video on RIP version 1. So today we will be discussing about RIP version 2. We will also see what all differences we have between the RIP version 1 and RIP version 2. So there is only little difference. Basically, when we talk about this RIP version 1 and RIP version 2, so the only difference is that, like in RIP version 2, it supports subnetting, but RIP version 1 does not support subnetting. For some of you who are already aware about the subnetting, basically in the case of subnetting, we divide our network into two. Let's say we are just going to make use of class C address. Let me just give you one example of 192.168.1.0 network. So in this network we are having 256, we can have 256 computer within this network. So if we want to divide this network into two, then we can make use of this subnetting, right? So how do we do the subnetting? That I will also give you a brief about that. I will be creating a separate lecture on this, right? So today we are just going to see how we configure this RIP version 2, that we are going to see it in detail, right? So let me just open my packet tracer and then we will see how we can configure this RIP and RIP version 2, right? So I'm just going to open my packet tracer. And before we get into the practical, I would also like to mention few things here. In RIP, basically it follows Bellman fold algorithm, right? So as per Bellman fold algorithm, what it says is it always look for the minimum hop count, right? For some of you who are not aware about what hop count is, I would like to give you something more in detail. Basically इसमें क्या होता है, when we talk about hop counts, let's say we have one network, right? और उस नेटवर्क में पहुंचने के लिए we have two different paths. एक पाथ में हमारे पास 1 Gbps का लिंक है एंड इन द अदर पाथ वी हैव 100 Mbps लिंक, राइट? सो एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि जो हमारा 1 Gbps का लिंक है उसमें हम क्या करते हैं, वी आर हैविंग लेट्स से 3 राउटर्स, राइट? सो आई जस्ट मीन टू से माई नेटवर्क इज 2 राउटर्स अवे फ्रॉम मी फ्रॉम वन लिंक, and in the other link which is of 100 Mbps, my network is only one router away from me, right? So in this case, as per the Bellman Ford algorithm, router is going to send the traffic through 100 Mbps link, which is just one router away from me, right? And this RIP works on UDP port number 520, right? That you need to remember, right? So let me just log in to my packet tracer and then we will see how we can configure this RIP and RIP version 2, right? So I'm just going to log in. Sorry guys, so I'm just going to take 2 routers here, right? Let me just minimize the screen. I am just going to take 2 routers. This is my one router, this is my second router. Let me just place it properly, and I'm just going to take 2 switches also, and I'm going to take my end device here. Same thing is for my this network also, and I'm just going to make use of this automatic cable to connect my machines, right? I'm just going to connect my routers also with the help of this automatic cable and the second network like this. So this is done, right? Let me just assign the IP addresses. So let us just assume that we are having one network of 192.168.5.0, right, this side, and on the other side I'm just going to make use of a different network. Let's say this is 15 dot, or let me just put it something else, 172.16.1.0, right? So I'm just going to assign the IP address to my end devices also, that is, let's say 192.168.5.2, right, because I'm going to assign 5.1 to my router, right? So let me just copy this here also. So this is going to be my 172.16.1.3, or I'll make it 2, right? So this is correct. Let me just put it into my machine also. I'm just going to show you like how they rip packets forward from one location to the other location, right? So let me just assign the IP address to my device, and I'm going to make use of 5.1 as my gateway, which I'm just going to assign it to my router, right? So let me just go to the other device also. Here I'm just going to assign the IP address as 172.16.1.2, and for this device my gateway would be 1.1. So my configuration is saved. Let me just go to my router, right? I just need to take one IP also here so that it will communicate. Let's say 15.0.0.1 at this side, and the other side I'm just going to take it as 15.0.0.2, right? So let me just go to my router. I will say no, enable. I will enable the router. Configure terminal. I can put the host name like this, host name R1, right? Now I need to assign the IP address of both my interface. So as you can see this on router 1, I have one interface called FA0/0, which is having 192.168.5.0 network, and I'm having one more interface, that is FA0/1, where I'm using my 15 network, right, 15.0.0.0, right? So I'm just going to assign the IP addresses to my interface FA0/0 IP address. This is how we assign the IP address to our interfaces. So this is 192.168.5.1, right? Right, and I will say no shut. So this is up, interface FA0/1 and the IP address 15.0.0.1, and I just need to mention my subnet mask also. For class A we have the subnet mask as 255.0.0.0, and I will say no shut. So we are going to make use of this command no shut just to make our devices up, right? So I have saved this. Let me just save the configuration. My configuration is saved. Let me just go to my other router. So I will name it as router 2. I will enable it first. Enable, configure terminal, host name let's say R2, right? Now similar to that, we are also having two interfaces on my second router, FA0/0, where we have this 15.0.0.0 network, and at the other end FA0/1 we have 172.16.0.0. That is going to be my network, but I'm just going to assign the gateway as 172.16.1.1, right? So interface FA0/0, I'm just going to assign the IP address here 15.0.0.2, and I just need to assign the subnet mask for my class A address. So this is how we assign the IP addresses. Let me just go to my other interface, FA0/1. Here I am just going to assign the IP address as 172.16.1.1, and let me just put the subnet mask. For class B, we have a subnet mask 255.255.0.0, right? And I am just going to make use of no shut, right? So my devices should be in the up state, but my devices are not in the up state, so there is some possibility that I might not have use of no shut at my this interface, FA0/1 no shut. This is absolutely fine. Let me just go to this interface FA0/0 no shut. So as you can see that my devices are in the up state now. So let me just cross verify that whether it has assigned the correct IP addresses to my interfaces or not. For that, we can make use of this command, do show IP interface brief. So guys, as you can see this on FA0/0, that is my this network, we have successfully assigned the IP address as 15.0.0.2, and we are having one more interface called FA0/1, that is this interface, and there we have assigned the IP address as 172.16.1.1. so that is absolutely fine. Let me just go to my other router 1, and we are just going to run the same command here, so that we will be able to verify whether it has been correctly configured or not. So we are just going to use the same command, do show IP interface brief. So as you can see that we are having two interfaces, FA0/0 and FA0/1. In FA0/0 we have assigned the IP addresses 192.168.5.1 to my router, and at the other end I have assigned the IP address to my fast Ethernet 0/1 as 15.0.0.1. So this is absolutely fine, right? So now we are going to do, we are just going to configure this RIP here, and I would like to show you how like RIP packets will get transferred to the other router, right? So let me just open my packet tracer in the simulation mode, so that you will come to know how the packets are getting transferred. So but before that, let me just show you the routing table on my second router, do show IP route. As you can see this router is only aware about the directly connected device, that is FA0/0 15.0.0.0, and the other one 172.16.0.0, right? So it is not having any route up till now, right? So what we are going to do, we are just going to configure the like RIP on both the devices, and then we will see how these routes are getting transferred from one router to the another router. If I take you to my first router, and if I run the same command, do show IP route, so as you can see this here also, like RIP routes are not synced yet because we have not configured the RIP yet, right? So we are just going to configure it now, and you guys will see how the packet will transfer, like how the traffic, how the routes, like RIP routes will get transferred from one router to the other router, right? So to configure the RIP, basically we are just talking about RIP version 1 only. We will be talking about RIP version 2 in the same video itself. So my video might be lengthy, but you will be having a complete knowledge about this RIP version 1 and RIP version 2. So be stay tuned with me. So we are just going to configure this RIP version 1 here only, right? So for that, what we need to do, we just need to say router RIP, right? So when we talk about this RIP, so basically we have to advertise ourselves, right? So whatever networks we have, we just need to advertise ourselves on the router. Those information will automatically sync to the connected devices, right? So when we talk about this router 1, right, this is my router 1. So in my router 1, I am having two network. One is of class C 192.168.5.0 and the other one is 15.0.0.0. So we just need to advertise ourselves. That's it. Rest of the work will be done by the RIP only, right? So here we are just going to make use of this command network 192.168.5.0. As I told you, we just need to advertise ourselves. So this is how we advertise ourselves, right? Press enter. As you can see that packet has been generated. Let me just advertise my other network also 15.0.0.0. Enter, right? So guys, you can see that two packets has been generated. So let me just open the packet and let me just show you how the packet will look like. So this is my packet. As you can see this in the layer 7, you can clearly see that we are just using this RIP version 1, right? This is mentioned here, RIP version 1, right? In RIP version 1, it basically broadcasts, right? So our broadcast address is 255.255.255.255. This is the broadcast address. This is the nature of this RIP version 1. So it always broadcasts, and RIP version 1 works on UDP port number 520, right? Correct. So let me just play this and you will see how the packets will transfer from one router to the other router. See this? It is basically just transferring their routes, whatever routes they have, it is transferring. See this? Routes are getting transferred. Right? So let me just go to one of the router and then I will just run that command once again. Do show IP route. Route has not been transferred yet. No. So what we are just going to do, we are just going to ping from one network to the another network, then we will see whether it is transferring the route or not. Otherwise we will see what can be the issue. So what it is saying is destination host unreachable. So we are just going to see what is the issue. So it clearly shows that route has not been transferred from one device to the other device, right? So let us just see one by one. This was our first network. This was our second network, right? So let me just go to the other device also. Router RIP, right? I think I have not configured this here. Network 15.0.0.0, network 172.16.0.0, right? Let me just try this once again. Let me just ping it from here to there. PING ping 172.16.1.2. Let us see if we are getting a reply from that network or not. Yes, we are successfully able to get the reply. Now if I'll try to ping from here to there also, so it is going to do that way also. So I'm just going to ping my R1 like network which is on my R1 router 192.168.5.2. so we are successfully able to ping the network. Let me just take you to my router so that I can just show you the routing table. Do show IP route. So guys, as you can see this, earlier we were only having the directly connected devices, directly connected networks, but now we are able to get one more entry, that is like prefixes R. So R stands for RIP. So we got the RIP like update here. So this router is aware about this 5.0 network. That is what it is. We are able to ping both way, right? I think this RIP version 1 is clear to you, right? Now I want to show you RIP version 2 also, right? So what would be the difference between this RIP version 1 and RIP version 2, that we are just going to see it now. So this was RIP version 1. I will just make it a note so that you guys can version 1, right? So we are just going to see this RIP version 2 now. I will save it. RIP version 1 practical. Practical. I will just save it. So I'm just going to take the example of this RIP version 2, right? So let me just make it a note here only, RIP version 2, right? So guys, we are going to do the same thing here also. We are again going to take two routers here because we are going to perform the similar practical. So I don't want you to like I don't want to do it with the same routers which we have taken in the previous video. I just want to make it very clear to you. That is what I am taking a fresh device here, so that the concept of you guys can be clear, right? There should not be any doubt in that, right? So that is my motto is. So let me just connect the automatic cable here, right? And I am going to connect my routers also. Same thing I am going to do it here. So the diagram is very clear, right? So this is the picture. So we are just going to do the same thing here again. So let me just take one network here. Let's say 10 dot. Let me just take 192.168.1 dot. Let's say 0 network, right? And here the CIDR value, basically CIDR stands for class less inter-domain routing. So we are going to take it as /25. So in this practical we are just going to do the subnetting. So we will be talking about the subnetting in my upcoming lectures. So I'll just give you a complete detail about subnetting, what subnetting is, so that we are going to see, right? So here I am just going to take a different network, right? Here I am just going to take 1.129. I'll take 128. Network is 128, but the IP address which I will be assigning it, that I will take it 129, right? Correct. So let me just take this here also, and let me just take this here also. So my machine, I'm just going to assign the IP address as 1.2, right? And here I am going to take 192.168.1. Let's say 130, right? So this is going to be a different network, guys. Don't get confused. This is a different network because in /25 we will be having two different networks. Each network will have 128 computers, like total number we have is 256, so that we are going to see. So let me just take one network here also. Let's say 8.0.0, one second guys, 8.0.0.1, and the other side I'm just going to take 8.0.0.2. This side I'm going to take 8.0.0.2, right? So let me just assign the IP address so that I can just show you the practical. 192.168.1.2, 192.168.1.1. This is going to be my gateway, and this side also. Let me just put the IP address 192.168.1.130, and here what we have to do is 128, that was missing. 192.168.1. My network would be 128, right? Right, correct. And here also I forgot to mention 128, and my gateway would be 1 only, right? Correct. So let me just go to my router, and I'm just going to assign the IP addresses. Enable configure terminal interface FA0/0, IP address 192.168.1.1, 255.255.255.128, right? So guys, you guys must have seen that, like in class C we always use 255.255.255.0, right? That is basically without the subnetting, but in this practical we are just going to do the subnetting, right? So that is what we are making use of 128. So we have divided our network into two, like, because in this network, in the class C network, we are having 256 IP addresses, so we have just divided into two. So that is what we are taking the CIDR value as /25, right? And I'll just going to make it shut, no shut. So this interface is up. Let me just go to my other interface, FA0/1 also, IP address. There we are not going to use the subnetting part. 1.255.0.0.0 and no shut. Correct. Do right. Let me just go to this router also. I will say no. I will enable it. Configure terminal interface FA0/0, IP address. I'm just going to make use of 8.0.0.2, 255.0.0.0, class A subnet mask. No shut. Right, we have one more interface on this router, interface FA0/1, right? IP address 192.168.1. Here we are going to make use of 129 because our network ID is 192.168.1.128. So I'll just make it clear in the subnetting part. You just have a look for now. .128, right? No shut. So all my interfaces are up in the up state now, right? So what we are going to do now, I'm just going to use this simulation mode, because I'm just going to create the RIP. I am just going to create configure my RIP on both the devices, both the routers. So I will show you. Earlier I also showed you like how the packet was showing it as RIP version 1. So this time it is going to show you as RIP version 2, and RIP version 1 does the broadcast, but RIP version 2 does the multicast on 224.0.0.9, right? That we are just going to see. So let me just open my simulation. I am just going on my router, right? So we are just going to type the same command, router rip, right? Here what we have to do, we have to make use of version 2, right? And no auto summary we have to make use of, no auto summary. Basically, if you are not going to use this no auto summary command, then what router will do, router will make use of, let's say we are just using this class C IP address, so it is going to take the value as /24, right? So it will not support the subnetting. So by using this no auto summary, it will tell the router that you just need to follow the subnetting part. So this no auto summary is all about, right? Say enter. Now I am just going to perform the same thing here. Network, I am just going to advertise ourselves, our network 192.168.1.0, right? Network 8.0.0.0. So this side is done. So let me just go to the other side. So I have to do the same thing here also. Router RIP version 2, right? No auto summary. So before I proceed further, so let me just open this packet and then let me just show you how it looks like. So guys, as you can see this, I have opened this packet, and at the layer 7 layer, it clearly shows that this is, we are going to make use of RIP version 2. It also works on UDP port number 520, right? So as I told you in the beginning that RIP version 1 does the broadcasting, but RIP version 2 does multicasting. So as you can see this, it is also going to use this multicast address as 224.0.0.9, right? If I'll take you into the outbound video details, so I will show you one more thing here also. Like whenever we use this RIP version 2, right? Whenever we use this RIP version 2, it is going to add the subnet mask also, right? Because we have not configured that RIP in the other end. That is what it is showing it as 0, right? Let me just configure it there also, then we will see. See this? This is the multicast address. So let me just configure that also. No auto summary. Network 192.168.1.128. Network 8.0.0.0, right? So let me just try to open this packet also. You can see the same thing here also. Version 1, version 2, port number 520. It is also doing the multicasting. Let me just check the packet, right? Let me just ping it. Let me just send it. I will open this packet, outbound video. So guys, as you can see this, in RIP version 2, we will be having this subnet mask, which is going to be attached, right? As you can see, this is RIP root packet, right? So it is adding the subnet mask here, correct? It is also showing you the next hop. So this is how we do. Basically, if we compare it with RIP version 1, so if you do the same thing in RIP version 1, but it doesn't support this subnetting part, so you will be having a null value here in the subnet mask, right? So it is going to treat this 192.168.1.0 and the other one as a single network, but in this case it is going to take it as two different network, right? So let us try to ping from here to there, and let me just show you the routes also. So as you can see, this we have received this RIP route here also, and in the other device we will see this we have received the RIP route for 1.0. This is 1.0, and we are getting the same route in the other router also, right? So let me just try to ping from this PC to that PC. I am just going to ping it. (192.168.1.130). We will see why we are not getting a ping from this device to that device. We will troubleshoot it if there is any issue. Okay, so let me just check it here. Okay, 128. Okay, just a second. So let me just try to see the router configuration here also. One dot zero. Let me just try pinging once more time, then we will see what is the issue. Ping 192.168.1.130. Let me just check this. 130.130. 128. This seems to be absolutely fine. There is no issue at all. Okay, let me just check the route. Show IP route. So we are getting this 192.168.1.0 from 8.0.0.1, right? That is correct. Okay, just a second, guys. We need to troubleshoot this. Do show IP interface brief. That was here 1.1. this is up. Okay, guys, please give me some time, let me just check it out, because let me just figure it out, then I will just show you how we can troubleshoot this. So guys, I could come across one issue, right? We are just going to make use of this 128 network, right? But if I go to the router and if I run this do show IP interface brief, then you can see that like on this FA fast Ethernet 0/1 we have given this 129, right? So this was the mistake. So what we have to do, we have to take the gateway as, because we have to put the router address as the gateway 129. So I have just made this changes only, and I will try to ping from here to my another network. So guys, as you can see this, we are successfully able to ping it, right? And we will try to ping it from here also. So that was just the mistake, 192.168.1.130. So we are able to ping it from both the network, right? So today guys, today we have discussed about this RIP and RIP version 2, right? So the only difference between the RIP and RIP version 2 is like it supports, RIP version 2 supports subnetting, right? So in my coming lectures, I will be discussing about the subnetting part in detail. We will be talking about what IP addressing is and how do we do the subnetting and all, right? So if you guys have any doubt or any confusion related to the previous topics which we have done so far, so you just please feel free to contact me. You can just put it down in the comment section. So I will try to answer all your queries over there, right? So I hope you would have loved this topic, and in my upcoming topic we will be talking about EIGRP, right? So that is enhanced interior gateway routing protocol, right? So that is basically a Cisco proprietary like protocol, but nowadays it is open standard, but basically it is getting used in Cisco devices only, right? But that is one of the most important protocol that we are just going to discuss in my further lecture, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, right? So thank you for your time and thanks for watching my video. If you have any queries or concern, just put it down in the comment. I will try to answer your queries, right? Thank you very much. Bye bye.